Yes, it's the time of year when, as my dad used to say, it can rain cats and dogs, which I'm sure is just one of dozens of colorful ways to say it's raining really, really hard. 'Tis the season for sure. Back on June 15th, more than half an inch of rain fell in just 10 minutes around Wheeling, West Virginia, in the northern panhandle of that state, not far from my hometown of Steubenville, Ohio, part of a larger thunderstorm cluster that produced deadly flash flooding. And that got me thinking about just how hard it can rain here in the Commonwealth. And as one answer, here's the greatest one-hour rainfalls on record for 10 of the main observing sites. In general, the records range from nearly 3 inches in 1 hour in Allentown and Philadelphia to just shy of 2 in northern locations such as Bradford and Scranton. Two things to keep in mind here. First, hourly data only goes back at most about 75 years, so it's a somewhat limited data set. And second, these are top of the hour to top of the hour. So they wouldn't catch, for example, a deluge that began at half past the hour and ended at half past the next. With those caveats in mind, here's the dates on which these occurred. All in the warm season, 4 in July, 2 in August, 1 in June, 2 in the first half of September, and the Johnstown record was in late May. The Harrisburg record is quite the outlier. More than 4¼ inches between 6 and 7 p.m. on July 23, 2017, a very localized cloudburst. Less than half an inch fell just a few miles downriver at the York Haven Dam. Now, when I look through the weather maps from these extreme rainfall events, some common traits jump out at me. First, none of the records was directly tied to a decaying tropical system. Instead, the culprit was some sort of boundary, a stalled front, for example, plus in most cases a potent upper air disturbance, what we'd call a shortwave. In addition, the vertical sum of all the moisture in the atmosphere, what we call precipitable water, was off the charts in all cases. And finally, just enough instability and weak upper air winds to produce thunderstorms that moved slowly. So how hard can it rain in other parts of the country? Well, here's the greatest one-hour rainfalls on record for some cities in the Deep South. With the exception of the Harrisburg outlier, these are all 1 to 2 inches greater than the Pennsylvania records, simply a function of being closer to sources of warm water and thus almost unlimited evaporation. Here's the dates of occurrence of these records. They're spread out more on the calendar than in Pennsylvania, some in April, including Miami, some in November, Houston, for example, testimony to the availability of copious moisture during more of the year. It's worth noting that even here, only one of these records was directly caused by a tropical system. The Atlanta record in July of 2005 was the result of a tropical storm named Cindy. What about U.S. and world records for one-hour rainfall? Well, there's still debate about this, though the World Meteorological Organization says the U.S. and world record is 12 inches in 1 hour in the small town of Holt, Missouri, near Kansas City, back in June 1947. Stay tuned. Our extended forecast is next.